Welcome to a journey through chaos, transformation, and the untapped power of the human psyche. If you've ever felt lost, overwhelmed, or broken, this video is for you. Carl Jung, one of the most influential voices in depth psychology, once said, "In all chaos there is a cosmos, in all disorder a secret order." This isn't just poetic. It's a revolutionary way of understanding mental health, spiritual awakening, and the moments when life falls apart, just before it comes together. Right now, more people than ever are struggling with anxiety, depression, burnout, and the quiet ache of not knowing who they are anymore. But what if the chaos you're experiencing isn't a breakdown? What if it's a breakthrough? In this video, we'll explore how inner chaos is not a sign of failure, but a signal of deep personal transformation. Drawing from Jungian psychology, archetypal myths, and real-life struggles, we'll uncover how suffering often carries a secret meaning, and how self-discovery begins not in light, but in darkness. This isn't just another motivational talk. It's a spiritual roadmap, a guide for anyone who wants to turn pain into purpose, confusion into clarity, and fear into self-awareness. If you're on a healing journey, if you're curious about shadow work, if you've asked, "Who am I really?" then keep watching. Because in this chaos, there may be a cosmos you haven't yet seen. Let's talk about darkness. Not the kind you see outside, but the one you feel inside when nothing makes sense anymore. We are told to avoid it, numb it, distract ourselves from it. But Carl Jung believed the opposite. He taught that within our darkness lies the gold, that if we are brave enough to turn inward, to face our shadow, we might just discover the most authentic version of ourselves. One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, Jung wrote, but by making the darkness conscious. This is the essence of shadow work, a concept that's becoming more and more popular in today's self-help and mental health communities, but often misunderstood. Your shadow is not your enemy. It's not your bad side. It's every part of you that was once pushed away. Your anger, your pain, your needs, your desires, your creativity, even your joy. Everything you learned to hide in order to be accepted. And here's the truth most people miss. When you ignore your shadow, it doesn't disappear. It shows up as self-sabotage, toxic relationships, burnout, emotional numbness, the very chaos you're trying to escape. But when you begin to integrate it, to meet it with compassion, something changes. That chaos starts to reveal a deeper inner order. You stop chasing external validation and begin a true journey of self-discovery. And this is where Jungian psychology shines. Because unlike quick-fix motivation or surface-level advice, Jung's work invites you to go deeper, to confront the unconscious mind, to reclaim your personal power, to ask not just, "How do I feel better?" but, "What is this feeling trying to teach me?" Every emotional spiral, every inner storm, every sleepless night, it's not meaningless. It's a message. The privilege of a lifetime, Jung said, is to become who you truly are. So maybe the chaos is not your destruction. Maybe it's your initiation. We live in a world that constantly tells us to get over it, to stay positive, to move on. But what if healing doesn't look like pretending everything is okay? What if real healing, emotional healing, trauma recovery, inner growth, looks like falling apart, on purpose? In today's high-speed, hyper-connected society, we are overwhelmed with information, yet starving for wisdom. We chase productivity, social approval, and perfection, and end up disconnected from ourselves. Burnout, imposter syndrome, emotional numbness, these aren't personal failures. They are symptoms of a deeper misalignment. They are the soul's way of saying, "You're not living your truth." This is where Jung's insight becomes revolutionary. He believed that the path to wholeness doesn't come from avoiding pain. It comes from embracing it. The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. And yet, that's exactly what transformation requires. The chaos you feel right now, the confusion, the loss, the identity crisis, it might be the sign you're entering a new stage of personal evolution, a rite of passage that almost every authentic human journey includes. And here's the secret: the universe doesn't waste pain. When you stop resisting your discomfort and start listening to it, when you stop running from the darkness and begin to explore it, you awaken a hidden inner wisdom. This is the real self, not the version of you molded by trauma or society, but the integrated self. The self with a capital S that Jung so often spoke of. This isn't easy work. It's the work of depth, it's soul work. And it requires honesty, courage, and compassion, especially toward yourself. Because healing isn't about becoming someone else. It's about remembering who you were before the world told you who to be. Let's talk about inner alchemy, the sacred art of turning pain into power. In ancient times, alchemists tried to transform base metals into gold. But Jung saw this not as a literal process, but as a profound metaphor for the psychological transformation of the soul. You are the alchemist, and your experiences, even the painful ones, are the raw material. That heartbreak, that betrayal, that moment when everything you believed collapsed, that's your lead. And the work of the soul, the true shadow work, is to melt that lead in the fire of awareness and slowly, patiently, transform it into gold. Not the gold of achievement or fame, but the gold of wholeness. The inner richness that comes from surviving what tried to destroy you and discovering that it awakened you instead. This is where transformation psychology and spiritual growth collide. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "What is this waking up in me?" Because the truth is, most people live their whole lives disconnected from their inner world. They chase external solutions for internal problems. But when you begin the process of self-integration, of meeting every abandoned part of yourself with love, you begin to experience something extraordinary, a kind of quiet power, an unshakable presence, a sense that no matter how chaotic life becomes, there is a center within you that remains untouched. That center is yourself, your original blueprint, the sacred spark that was never broken, only buried. And once you begin to live from that place, once your inner cosmos begins to align, the outer world starts to shift in response. Not because your life becomes perfect, but because you are no longer ruled by fear, by ego, by wounds. You are guided by something deeper, something eternal. You are not your past. You are not your trauma. You are not the story someone else wrote for you. One of the most powerful teachings in Jungian psychology is that we are not prisoners of fate. We are co-authors of our lives. And that means, at any moment, we can choose to rewrite the narrative. Yes, your pain is real. Yes, what happened to you mattered. But it does not have to define who you become. You can go back into your own story, the messy, raw, beautiful chaos of it, and say, "This part no longer serves me. This belief was never mine to carry. This identity was built from survival, not truth." And when you do that, when you consciously edit the script, something miraculous happens. You begin to live as the main character of your own life. Not a side character in someone else's expectations. Not a ghost trapped in old memories. But a fully alive, self-aware human being with agency, depth, and direction. Until you make the unconscious conscious, Jung said, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. This is the moment you reclaim that power. You stop waiting for someone to rescue you. You stop believing you are broken, and you realize the very fact that you're still here, still searching, still feeling, still trying, means that your inner fire is still burning. So now, the question becomes, what story do you want to tell from this moment forward? Who do you choose to become? Not out of fear, but out of love. This is not about becoming someone better, it's about becoming someone truer. Because when you live from the self, from that deep, unshakable center Jung spoke of, your life stops being a reaction to pain and starts becoming an expression of meaning. There is a quiet kind of strength that comes from knowing who you are. Not the version you present to the world, but the version you meet in silence. It is not loud. It does not need validation. It simply is. This is the strength of self-awareness, of inner peace, of radical self-acceptance. And make no mistake, this is a revolution. Because in a world that profits from your self-doubt, choosing to love yourself is an act of rebellion. Choosing to turn inward, to meet your shadow, your wounds, your chaos, is an act of courage. Jung did not promise that the journey would be easy. He only reminded us that it would be worth it. Your visions will become clear, he said, only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside, dreams. Who looks inside, awakens. And maybe that's what you are doing right now. Maybe, just maybe, you are not breaking down. You are breaking open. Maybe the chaos is not here to punish you. Maybe it is here to prepare you. To strip away what is false, to awaken what is real, to bring you home, to yourself. So if you're in the middle of your chaos right now, if things feel uncertain, messy, painful, know this. There is a cosmos inside you, even if you cannot feel it yet. There is a light that has not gone out, even if the world seems dark. And there is an order, a purpose, a sacred intelligence, quietly shaping your story. You are not alone in this. Every soul who has ever awakened has walked through fire, and every scar you carry is proof, not just that you survived, but that you are being transformed. So give yourself grace. Let go of the pressure to have it all figured out, and instead, trust the unfolding, because healing is not linear. Growth is not always pretty, but the journey back to yourself, that is the most beautiful thing you will ever do. And remember, in all chaos, there is a cosmos. In all disorder, a secret order. Carl Jung was not just describing the universe, he was describing you. If this message spoke to something deep inside you, if it helped you feel a little less alone in the chaos, then consider subscribing to the channel. Leave a comment and tell me, what is one part of your story you're ready to rewrite? Let's create a space for reflection, healing, and real conversation. And if you know someone who's walking through their own fire right now, share this with them. You never know how far a little light can travel in the dark. Until next time, stay curious, stay grounded, and most of all, stay true to yourself.